All right, now let's talk about package management in R. So in R, a package is similar to an app that you might have on your phone or a mini application. It allows you to extend R's capabilities. Now, what you'll see in the commands that I'm about to run is that all of them are commented out, meaning that they will not run directly in the notebook. I would rather run these from the console so you can see what's going on. Now, the first command is called install packages. And I'll copy and paste that here. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to install a package called Shiny. The syntax is always install.packages, and then you put the package that you want to install inside quotes. Now, when you hit enter, this goes out to the internet, and it should download and install usually fairly quickly. And now the package is installed. If you actually want to use the package, however, you have to load the package using a command called library. And in this case, library shiny without the quotes is how we would activate this package. Not much happens, but we have loaded it and it's ready to go. In general, you should always keep track of the libraries that your code needs to run successfully, because when you share code with others, they'll need to know that information as well. If you want to do some package maintenance and keep track of your own packages, here are some commands. The library command, just without anything between the parentheses, will bring you a full list of all the packages that you have installed on your system right now. The update packages command will go out to the internet and make sure all of your packages are up to date. In my case, I have everything up to date, so nothing really happened here. If you want to find out particular help about a package, you can issue this command. In this case, I'm looking for help on the package called datasets, and it opens up here in the help pane. And you can see here, for example, here's help on the cars dataset that we were working with earlier. Now, RStudio also has its own tools to help manage packages, and those are in the packages pane here. You can install or you can update, and you can also see what's already installed as well. Now, the next big topic in R is what's called the working directory in R. This is a really important concept. And basically what the working directory is, it's the location, the folder, the path, the location on your hard drive where R is currently executing commands. This is important because lots of commands will assume that the working directory has the required input or data that you need to make your R commands work. And so if R is working in one location, but your data files are in another, then it can lead to a lot of confusion. If you would like to see where your current working directory is, then you can use the command getwd. In this case, I'm going to do print getwd, which is just making sure that it prints out. And mine you can see is users, SPUR, desktop, introduction to R and RStudio. If I wanted to change that, I can change it in a couple of different ways. Let me show you the first way. The first way is to use the command called setwd, which I'm going to use down here in the console. Setwd, in this case, I'm going to set it to users, SPUR, desktop. Not much happens, but if it's successful, then getwd will return the fact that I'm working in that directory. Now you'll notice that the files pane did not change when I changed the working directory. If I want that to happen, if I want the files pane to change, then I have to make sure I browse to my desktop and then go into the desktop so that I can look at the files. In other words, the files location here is independent of the working directory. Now, if I do want to reset my working directory, I can just browse to where I was and set it as working directory, and then I'm back to normal. Again, the working directory is important because it's where R is doing its work, and you have to be aware of that at every point. Now let's talk about scripts in R. In R, a lot of times that you'll want to save the commands that you've been working with. So you might be working in the console and you've come up with some good commands and you want to save them. An R script is a plain text file way of doing so. The way you create an R script is by clicking on this new button here and choosing R script. And what will happen is you get an untitled document. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And I will save it it automatically saves defaults to your working directory, and I'm going to call it script.r. And what this allows you to do is put in commands that you can save for later. So suppose I want to look at the mean of the car's distance, and I would also like to plot cars. I can also add comments such as, this is my work, this is a plot, in order to document what I'm doing and remind myself what the commands do. When you come to one of these lines, if you click on Run, then it will execute that down in the console. You can even run all the commands at once by just hitting Source. And it happens very quickly, but it executes everything at once. This is the basic idea of an R script. Again, it's the ability to save code so that you can share it with others. Now, the cardinal rule of R scripts is the following. Make sure to never, and I really want to stress this, never put setwd commands or install.packages commands in an R script. The reason for this is that when you share your code with somebody else, your setwd is probably not going to work for them because you have a different set of folders on your hard drive. And install.packages is not a great way is not something that you want to put in an R script either, because you don't want to install packages on other people's computers. Just let them do that. In particular, if you want to share your R script with others, here are a few tips to make sure that your R script is going to work. So first off, make sure that your script doesn't contain any references to specific directories on your computer, for example, through the setwd command. So make sure it really doesn't reference anything specific on your computer outside the working directory. Also, next step is double check that your working directory is set to the directory of your script. And then the next thing is to restart your R session by choosing the RStudio menu, Session, and Restart R. And then finally, source your script by choosing the source button when the script is open in RStudio. Now, if all of those things work, all of those steps work without any error, then your script is ready to share. Let me show you what that looks like in this case. So the very first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that my working directory is set to the scripts directory. I'm going to restart R. And then I'm going to source the whole thing, and as long as I don't get any errors at all, then my script is ready to share. All right, last but not least, where can you get help in R? First, you can get help within R and RStudio. So there is a command called ? that will help you search for help on various topics. So for example, suppose you needed to learn about the mean command. You could do mean, and that will show up in the help window here. Here's another thing that you can do. Let's look at help on dates. A synonymous way to do that is to do the help command. So here's help on plot. You can also do a command double ? and search for the mean. And that will show you every item in the help database that has the word mean in it. That can also be done with help.search, and you search for a term that you want to study, and it will find all of the locations that mention that phrase. Now, RStudio also has its own help pane, which we saw before. If you click the home button, there's a lot of resources here. I've listed here other options. You can certainly search on the internet. Just try to be precise when you search. You can ask your classmates, and of course you can ask me as well. I've listed down at the bottom here other resources. These are different tutorials and things on the internet that you could take a look at. I would especially advise looking at this basic vocabulary of R. I think that's a nice resource. And here are some other tutorials that you can look at in your own time, different ways to think about the topics that we've talked about so far today. All right, that ends our tutorial. Thank you very much.